Yo, love, peace, and hair grease, and a pair of leaves with a permanent crease. You already know it's the grandest of them all, leaving your mama fall for. Grandmaster Caz, welcome to Casual Talk. You know the podcast. I ain't here by myself. I got them boys. Them Hennyboyz, all right? Got my man Big Tone in the building. Big Dame.
Yes, sir.
Puerto Rico. The mighty Mike C. All right. And my man KB. Mr. Controversy over there. All right, we got some special guests in the building tonight. I got my Cold Crush brothers, my fellow Cold Crush brothers in the building. Easy AD, Supreme Easy AD, and, okay.
Mr. I don't leave all the ladies alone.
Never leaving the girls alone when the Cold Crush is on the microphone.
Hey, listen, somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it.
AKA Tony Crush. All right. Welcome. All right, Casual Talk. We talking legends, and when we talking hip hop, we always start with origins, okay? Because fuck where you at? How'd you get there? All right. We talking day oneers right here. So as far as the Cold Crush brothers is concerned, I don't want to take for granted that people know my story. It doesn't start with me. It starts right here with these two. Tony, how did the Cold Crush brothers come about?
Well, it was one of those nights, man. We was running around. I think we was in Queensbridge. And then we went from Queensbridge. I'm going to cut it short. We went from Queensbridge back to the Bronx to White Castle. Then we got in front of Breakout House. But every place we had been, it was fight. We was fighting and all this and that. And it just got so crazy, and I looked at Breakout from the Brothers Disco, Funky 4 plus 1. And I said, yo, I'm starting my own group. And he said, yo, how the fuck you gonna start on? I said, I'll show you. And that's how it started.
So, Breakout, DJ Breakout from the Brothers Disco, like you said, the DJ for the Funky 4 plus one more. And Tone was the...
I was down with them at they sound man.
Right, he was the sound man.
Early 70s.
Responsible for setting up their sound system, making sure it sounded dope, and all that. I mean,
and I also was at come get you if we had a problem with you.
Security. he was security. He had that thing on him, like they
all
say
the
nowadays. He had that thing on him.
All the time.
At all times. All right, so you made the decision to leave the Brother Disco because
not to leave them, but to start building my own, because they was caught up in that situation of Sugar Hill Records dissecting the group anyway.
Okay.
She had came in, they had made a record, and she was dissecting the group, and we didn't know enough. Because we was under contract with the Brothers Disco, because Breakout Brother had us sign contracts to be down anyway.
Jazzy D.
Yeah, so we didn't have the wit-all to know that she couldn't actually take the MCs. But she took the MCs, and that's why they became the Funky 4 plus one more, because the Brothers Disco actually owned the name Funky 4 and Funky 4 plus 1. So she changed it to Funky 4 plus one more.
So this is all Sugar Hill stuff.
Yeah. This is the time of Sugar Hill coming in, and they made the first record with Enjoy, and then Enjoy signed all of them over to Sugar Hill, and that's how they got caught up in all that. So
you decided, hey, you know what? I'm
done.
I'm gonna do me.
Yeah. So then I start venturing out and talking to people, and people was like, yo, my man, the real R.C. LaRock that started with us as one of our mumble MCs, the original mumble MC.
The original, before mumble rap.
I have a question for you, Tom.
He was... Yo, AD can talk about him a little more, but go ahead.
What's up, Tom? Tom got a question.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I'm a little confused with the timeline, because you said Sugar Hill, the Funky 4 plus one more, when they made that record, but I thought Cold Crush dates a little further back.
No, I dated further back.
That was 79.
Yeah.
79 is when all them Sugar Hill records came out.
Yeah,
I mean, the Enjoy records came out.
But I thought Cold Crush 4, or Cold Crush Brothers dated a little further back than that. Than 79.
Yeah, they do. They
In
do.
parts.
We're talking about like when you first got Charlie.
Well, when I first met Charlie, I didn't know Charlie. I'd never heard of him. RC said, when I told RC I was starting my own group, he said, well, Charlie Chase want to do it. I said, who's Charlie Chase? I said, set up a meeting with him. The next day I met AD. I said, I'm starting my group.
Gotcha.
I'm starting a group. AD said, I'm an MC. I said, you down. With me, it's just getting it started, and then I work out the kinks later.
Gotcha.
So then the next day, I met Charlie. Charlie ain't like me, but he liked what I had to offer. So we sitting there, we going back and forth. Charlie ain't got equipment, nothing. And this boy is like, yo, we don't need the fucking Coca-Cola. What?
right,
What's a Coca-Cola?
That's a conversation we had.
Hey, listen, you say you want to tell the truth?
Tell the truth.
I put where the book at? Where? But you know, it was all like I really didn't care. You know, I said, Charlie, you don't need the Coca-Cola, but you do need the Coca-Cola because you're not just walking in there.
Right.
Somebody got to escort you in. You got to be around somebody that already in. You're not just walking in. Because if it was so, they would have been half of what we was doing. Oh, they are. They said they are. That's another story, right? Come see me.
We will not digress.
Come see me. Come see
Right
me.
now.
Caz in trouble. You know what?
I handle my own trouble. I handle my own trouble. He didn't say it. I said it.
No, for clarity, AD, let's bring in AD because at that point, and you made a good point because you was talking about 79. 79 is the year that all the rap records came out. That was the first year of rap music, from King Tim III to Jocko and Rapper's Delight, and then all the Funky Four. I mean, all the Enjoy records came out in 79. The Cold Crush Brothers was started before that.
Yeah.
There were different variations that led up to the Cold Crush that we know today. And AD could tell you more about that.
Absolutely. So, you know, I like to say point of reference because we could be sitting in the same place and everybody can see the same thing, but they don't view it the same way. So initially, Tony Tone said I met Tony in 1978. He said, I'm starting my group, Cold Crush Brothers. And I said, I'm an MC. He said, you down. So there was no addition based on energy and vibration. So we had Charlie Chase had his group that was hanging around him at the time, meaning other individuals who wasn't part of the Cold Crush Brothers or part of what we was doing, but because they were with him, they were considered part of us in some type of way.
An extension,
right? An extension, but not in my not the way I view the world. So we had me, Chase, Tone, LaRock, and Mr. T was Mr. T. And so we began doing our thing, rehearsing, rhyming, and doing shows at the time. Then we began to be more serious about, meaning we chose to be like we're gonna make this happen in a way. We just don't want to be just a group floating out here just doing shows, dollar parties and stuff like that. We want to make an impact on the culture. This is what I was thinking. I don't know if everybody else was thinking that same way. I'm a projector, so I project things past what's in front of me. So then we made a change. The group changed. We got even a guy, Mighty Mike. Mighty Mike was a DJ along with us. Charlie Chase, Tony Tone, Mighty Mike. Then Leslie G. But the MC changed in a different way. So it was LaRock, myself, Mr. T, and Teddy Ted, right? And
Cisco.
Right, Cisco. Cisco was Charlie Chase MC. He wasn't really a Cold Crush Brother MC. He came with Chase. And then after that, it changed. It was me, Mr. T, Whip, and Dada Rock. Right? That was
Salt and Pepper MCs.
That was another group, another of the Cold Crush. Then at the time, we really said we would just want to get serious about it, meaning we wanted to go to another level.
Around what year was the Whip and Dot era?
I think it was 80.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you, 80. I have a very good recollection. Of course, you know I don't drink this stuff here, things like that. Yeah. So and then Whipper Whipper Dada Rock had decided that they wanted to go to they felt a more established group, and move on. And like so, Whipper and them came from the Mighty Force. They came from Caz's group on that side, and they came into. So they left. They went to the Fantastic Five. So we were sitting. I was sitting and we were kind of alone, and I think Chase came up with the idea. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna ask Caz. Well, I'm gonna ask Casanova Fly, to be an MC because he was already known as a DJ MC, and plus his partner JDL, they were doing their thing around the city and doing their thing. So they already had their brand, and so he initially had that idea. So one of the things that I would say is Chase wanted Caz to be part of the group, and I was, of course, I mean, why not? And also Tone, but he didn't want JDL to be part of the group, and that really kind of to me it was kind of disturbing because he did that same thing to Whipper Whip. He wanted Dada Rock, but he didn't want Whipper Whip. And the reason why he chose not that, he had that in his head is because of the like drinking and marijuana and stuff like that. So he didn't want to bring that element, which was already in our circle already in the group. But I think Caz was like, if L's not here, then I'm not here. And then when we found KG. In 1979, there was a rappers convention at the PAL, and at that particular time, that's when Blondie had came with Fat Five Freddy, and they saw Flash do their thing. So that's where they got their Flash is Fast. But at that convention, everybody was there who was, I guess, you would consider part of the culture. And then we saw this guy named. We had rehearsal. We had a tryout. So Caz and L was down, right? After that, after the convention, Chase had convinced you to be part of the group.
Me and Chase was arguing about L. I said, no, we need the grit.
Well,
we need the grit.
Well, my thing is like the way I see the culture is like everybody can't be the same. You must have entities that match up not only from a lyrical style, a voice style, like a flow style. And it was incredible. So we found you can take this part how we got Almighty KG with the group.
Charlie Chase used to play in a few areas of the Bronx, and when you heard a block party going on in the city, when you heard music playing somewhere loud, you just gravitated towards it. You know what I mean? And then the block party, hip hop block party culture started. You started to seek out these parties. And then, when you see a lot of people walking down the block in one direction, you already know, yo, where they jamming at? Yo, they at 118, so-and-so at 118. You would follow them, and then whoever was playing, when you got there, you got down with it. So I caught up to Charlie at a couple of these little block parties. And like Easy alluded to, Chase had his own crew when Tone met him. He was DJing with some Spanish guys, Puerto Rican group. They were musicians and DJs, and they played disco and salsa music. Charlie was the only one out of them that played hip hop music. So maybe for 20 minutes out of their set, when they would play outside, they would let Chase get on and play his little black music or whatever, you know what I mean, and then go back to the the regular set. Now a lot of times I would catch Chase during these little 20-minute interludes or a half hour, and I would get on the mic with him. So we developed a relationship like that. So by the time the Cold Crush thing came around, he was like, yo, I'll get Cat. I can get Casanova to get down. He didn't want L because L was wild to him. L smoked dust. He was like one of them, but that's the same thing everybody appreciates him for nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, Chase thought he might be a detriment to the group. But I was like, if he don't get down, I don't get down. All right? And then when they decided, yes, they worked it out, I got down, it was like, okay, now we having auditions for a fourth person. All right. Now we got 2 candidates. There's a guy named Dynamite T. All right, little like he about that big to this day. All right, and he looked like Chris Rock, like
From the movie.
From the movie, right? And KG, So Chase said, "Listen, Caz, I want you to come over and check these dudes out, and let me know which one you think I should put down with the group." So I listened to both of them, and I was like, I didn't think neither one of them was that much, I definitely didn't want Dynamite T, but I was like, yo, him, he got a voice. He could voice. We could work with that. Yeah. He got a strong voice, exactly. You know what I mean? And then KG, and that's the Cold Crush 4 that the world knows.
Yeah, so Caz, the 2 other guys was Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, was the guys that Chase used to play with.
Right.
That's the name of the crew.
And
Master Ace. Okay.
Yeah, we got together and we just started rehearsing. We kind of vibe. The thing with the Cold Crush is if you put certain, it's just like planets and energies. When you put certain energies together and they match, it becomes very powerful. So everybody match. We have Tone, who is like the general. Tone is the person who he's like the GM. He gets the players together, bring everybody together. He brought everybody together. Then we had, everybody had their own footprint in hip hop. I came from the Assalam Brothers, and out of my group, Donald D, who's with the Rhyme Syndicate, he went out to LA and all that. So he was my first initial MC partner. So all of us have the roots in the culture. Like when Caz indicate, we're the roots of hip hop, we are the roots of hip hop, and we're fairly young. If you look at the spectrum of age, so someone who's considered like DMC and I am the same age, exactly the same age. So it's kind of interesting how I, was in the forefront because I met Tony when I was young, and I was like, yo, I remember Tony.
But not smack.
Well, he actually, so I met Tony. So the interesting thing about I went to junior high school in 36. So junior high school in 36 was near the Black Door, and Ray Chandler, who was like a Flash News manager. His nephews went to my school, so I used to see Ray Chandler every day because his nephew was really bad. And Rodney C. and Jazzy Jeff went to junior high school in 136. So why I'm saying that is because I had an opportunity as a young person to go into the Black Door and go places where a lot of people were afraid to go through because if you didn't live on that part of town or you didn't go to Mitchell Gym, so a lot of artists, a lot of pioneers only were at their own shows. And I was able to go. AJ, when AJ was a prominent figure, which a lot of people don't talk about in the culture.
Yes.
And so he was out there in Mitchell Gym and Patterson Project. The thing about the culture and the Cold Crush Brothers, if you look at each individual one of us, we are a specialist in something. Like when you put it all together, it just makes it a perfect mix.
Yeah. When I first saw the Cold Crush, I realized that this was some incredible, one of the most incredible groups I've ever seen in my life. All right, it was in the Harlem World. I seen the Harlem World, and y'all was setting up the microphones. It didn't rhyme or anything yet. Y'all just set up the microphones. And some girls was like, well, who y'all supposed to be? And KG said, the cold crushing motherfucking tough ass 4 MCs. And I got chills when he did that shit. So I'm like, wow. So then after that I watched, and just like everybody else, I fell in love with the group. And I even asked you about it. Like, what made you even think to come with these songs from these old radio, from
the jingles for
from Super 16, the Cats in the Cradle, and he would take those songs and turn them into Cold Crush, this is our songs, and turn them into routines. And you were the only motherfuckers that was doing that. And it was incredible to hear that. What made you come up with that?
Well, before you answer that, I want to throw this in. It's what we come up with. Right?
Yeah. Right? Well, what made y'all?
So let's go. Again, origin, culture, and what you listen to. We grew up collectively on ABC radio, listening to all the things that was Universal Music, and Almighty KG with the guy with the voice.